Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mackenzie and today's video is going to be a maintenance video. So you're going to see some creatures that you haven't seen yet, starting with this one. This is Ptolemy. Ptolemy is a Kenyan sand boa that I've had for a couple months now. He's just about a year old, I believe. I figured it would be cool to kind of do a maintenance day in the life of some of the daily care or the animal care that goes into taking care of all of these creatures, and introduce you to some of the animals that you will see in future videos. So this is, again, Ptolemy. He is our Kenyan sand boa. He is very different looking from most of the other snakes that you'll see in this video, and that's because he is a burrowing snake. Now, we saw that he has kind of a little shovel-shaped head, and his head is a lot skinnier than the rest of him, and that's so that he can dig through sand or whatever substrate he's on. He will get to roughly a foot or so long, probably, since he's a male, and they tend to be smaller than the females, as is true with most snakes. And he's just cool to watch. Like, I don't see him very often in his enclosure because he likes to dig and hide, but I like to take the babies out of their enclosures to eat. That way they don't risk consuming any substrate with their food. And it's just nice to check on him, especially because I don't see him very often. I like to take them out, make sure that they're doing okay, look for any injuries, anything like that. And it's just cool to watch them eat as well. While I'm watching them eat, or while I'm waiting for them to eat, I check on some of the other creatures, mainly like isopods, millipedes, that kind of stuff, and I do their maintenance. All of the footage of the snakes eating is sped up, that way this video doesn't take forever. I think the total time that I spent today on feeding and maintenance was about an hour and a half, and that wasn't even feeding all of the snakes. Here I'm checking on our springtail culture that I started. I don't know what kind of springtails they are. They kind of came in with some of my isopods. I noticed that there was a bunch of them, so I kind of started separating them, and now I have a springtail culture, which is super good for breaking down organic matter in the enclosures of the snakes. Now that Ptolemy's done, we'll be moving on to our next friend. I'm going to give him a second here. You can see he's just finished getting it in his mouth, really, but we'll give him a second to digest and bring out the next one. This is Polaris. So Polaris is my snow corn snake. He is het scaleless, and he actually has an injury on the top of his head right now because he decided to scrape scales off right between his eyes. He's been in a quarantine tank for a little bit, that way nothing gets in it. It has time to kind of scab over and start to heal, but he's still eating well. There's no other problems really. He just kind of, I noticed it the one day, and that's one of the things that I like checking on them for. And then you can see I decided to check on some of the isopods. So these are my Armadillidium gestroi. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but you get the picture. They're yellow dot isopods. I have a couple cultures of isopods that I will check on during this time, because again, I have to wait for them to eat, so I might as well look at some of the other creatures as I'm going. These guys are really cool. They're the biggest of the isopods that I have, but I dropped him, so that was not fun for him. I didn't know where he went, I couldn't see him, and then I saw, obviously, little legs. Oh, the poor guy. I tried to pick him up, but I have nails, so I couldn't pick him up. So it was basically just direct him towards the edge of the table and pick him up after that. I feel really bad that I dropped him, but he's okay. I've checked on them since then and nobody's perished, so that's good. There you can see some dairy cows. So that's another one of the isopod cultures we have. They reproduce very quickly. If you're looking for a good isopod breed to put into your enclosures for bioactive enclosures, dairy cow isopods reproduce so fast. I have infinitely more of them than I do any of the other ones that I have. So Polaris is taking his sweet time this time. He usually is done in like 30 seconds, but I'm assuming because I'm kind of moving around, he's being slow, so I decided to feed his girlfriend at the same time. So this is Brunella. She's our scaleless. She's just a normal. She is het albino though. Corn snake, and she is also a 2024 baby. They both are 2024 babies. And it's interesting to see like the difference in size. He's very long and ropey. She's a little bit shorter but thicker. She's very sweet. So you'll see in a second here. She doesn't really strike her food. She just kind of takes it. And that's it. She's very polite. But I figured since I have other snakes to feed still, I would feed them at the same time, and then it became a race. A race that I definitely thought Prunella would win, just because she's eating much faster than Polaris is for some reason. But these are one of the other breeding projects that I will be doing eventually in the future. I have to wait until they're bigger, obviously. It'll probably be about 2 years before I can breed them, so they're about a year old now. I'll be waiting till they're at least 3 or big enough to breed, which is probably at least 3 years old, if not a little bit longer, depending on how fast they grow. I'm not power feeding them or anything really. I don't want to stunt their growth or compromise their health for any reason. So they're just kind of around until I get them to the point that I can breed them. And since Prunella is scaleless and Polaris is het scaleless, a good number of the babies, so I think it's about 50%, should be scaleless. We have the option of getting scaleless normals that will look like Prunella. We have this option of getting scaleless albinos. But my camera also died during this, so that's the end of the corn snakes. Next on the list to feed were our female California king snakes, which we've all seen by now. So Psycho, aka her actual name being Phantasma, is first, and as she is, she took the mouse and fell directly into her water bowl. So I obviously am gonna pick her up and move her. She's not gonna be happy about it because she never is. But we'll put her, she grabbed some of the leaves as well, so I just separated all that. She gives me such a hard time. I realized during this video that the sides of her tank were kind of dirty. I didn't clean them while she was eating, but as soon as she was done and comfortable again, she went and hid in her little enclosure, and I cleaned up the walls a little bit after that, just so I didn't disturb her too much while she was trying to eat, as it's very likely that she lets go and decides to try and bite me instead. You know, she is hungry enough that she would hold on to a mouse and grab another one, for sure. And then she would eat them both and then come back and ask for more. It's always interesting to do the maintenance for these guys. They are so much more ferocious or voracious when they eat than some of the other ones. I definitely have to make sure that I lock her cage, just because she will escape. She is my escape artist, and I like to make sure that all of my animals stay safe and contained. We do have cats, and I don't ever want that to be an issue where the snake gets out and then one or both of them get injured. Most likely the snake would perish if the cat got to it or one of the cats got to it, and I don't want to deal with that because I really like them as pets and I want to breed them in the future. So again, this footage is sped up but it's kind of cool to see the difference in the way that the California king snakes eat versus the other snakes that I've shown so far. They are so much more animated and excited to eat. And we'll see it again here. I don't get the strike on camera, but this is Persephone. She's so excited to eat that she actually strikes at the glass. Like she's just they just want it. So she gets her mouse again. California king snakes are so fun to feed because they are so animated. As for the feeding schedule, I try and keep the babies and my females on a higher feeding schedule than my adult carpet python and prince. I don't need Prince or my carpet python to be any bigger than they are, so they're on more of a maintenance diet, whereas the babies and the two female king snakes, they can stand to gain some size, especially Psycho, just so that we have hopefully less problems when it comes to breeding season, because Prince is a very big boy, and I don't want to run into him eating them or anything like that, which I've said in one of my educational videos is a possibility when you're breeding king snakes. So my babies and the female king snakes get fed every 5 days, and the carpet python and prince get fed every 10 days. So they're on the off days from the babies. And I chose to do it that way just so that it keeps everybody consistent. It's either feeding just the babies and the females or feeding everybody all at once, which obviously makes the time to feed them a little bit longer. But as far as like animal care goes, it's not difficult. And you can see here again, just the animation in California king snakes when they eat. They're so excited to eat food. So yeah, I know this video is kind of on the mundane side. I have a lot of stuff that's going to be going on in the next couple weeks. There probably will not be a video next week just because I have a couple projects that I need to get done. I will be filming those projects, but I won't be posting them for at least probably 2 weeks. So next week's video, there probably won't be one, like I said, but the week after, hopefully there will be a pretty cool video for you guys on an enclosure build for our gecko and some new friends that we're getting. So there will be another video on the new friends. I'm gonna leave it as a surprise. It's a big project and you'll see why I needed the extra time when it's done. But I'd like to thank everybody for watching the video. It means a lot to me that you guys tune in and like the videos for me. Any feedback you have, obviously leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying my videos, as it makes it more encouraging for me to make more videos. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys in the next video.